It's a podcast for three now. Look who it is. It's
Uh,
my old dog, which is actually only 2 and a bit.
Try
In
teaching
dog
her
years is quite
some
a lot.
old tricks.
Some what?
Try teaching that new dog some old tricks.
Yeah, like what old tricks are there? Like the old, like taking a tablecloth off a table.
Convincing the world you didn't exist.
Whoa!
I always love a story about the devil doing a trick and then a wily farmer tricking them back. That's always a good one. Like, I used to live near a place called Devil's Bridge in Aberystwyth,
Oh.
and it's called Devil's Bridge because of an old story about the devil appearing to a farmer and saying, "I'll build a bridge over this gorge, but I'll take the soul of the first thing that walks over," thinking the farmer's going to walk over, and the devil will be like, "Oh, I got your soul!" But then the farmer sent his goat over, and the devil was like, "Ah, goat soul! I had that last night."
Can you tell me another fairy tale before we crack on?
What's another good one? There was a young lady from Rill whose shrieking could be rather shrill.
Oh yeah,
She
good.
woke with a fright in the middle
Yeah.
of the night
Yeah.
to see John Lydon, who was here with Pill.
Her favourite character in The Simpsons was Thrill House. We should say at this stage that this is our, I think, third attempt at recording episode 27. It
Yes.
appears to be cursed. Here's a little extract of how cursed it was.
Okay, round 2 is David. Why the fuck? That is, of course,
Yeah, that's the sort of quality we were experiencing, as you can see from the frustration in my face. Turns
I
out
think it's very
James's
clear.
parents don't have the internet, maybe, or it's all made out of candles, or like delivered by pigeons.
We tried to record this podcast through the use of 2 tin cans with a long string.
But the string was an Ethernet cable. Yeah, so not the best, but let's see if we can do it properly as we attempt episode 27 for the third time.
Is this enough? With James O'Donoghue and David Hoare.
Hello and welcome to episode 27, the third. This is Is This Enough? It's the really brilliant game show that is both brilliant and, get this right, excellent. 27 is the natural number following 26 and preceding 28. Thanks, Wikipedia, for all that you do. We've made up 3 rounds for each other, and neither of us know what the other has prepared. Along the way, we'll have some stuff happening. We'll have questions and more questions and answers. There is all to play for, as there is a prize for a winner and a forfeit for the loser. With me, as ever, is comedian, actor, painter, James O'Donoghue impersonator, and headphones wearer. How distinct, James O'Donoghue.
All right, legends. Hey, let's have it.
Are you drinking alcoholic drinks? We like to drink with James. That was really unnecessary. Was that actually alcoholic?
No, that was Lucky Saint.
Was that one of the lucky saints I left at your house?
Yeah. And let me tell you, it's aged so much, it's fermented. And now it's alcoholic. No, that I... excuse me. You can't down a Lucky Saint.
There's no benefit to it.
That's hoppy. That's
still a beer. This is the thing. I gave a this story gets name droppy. I gave a clear head non-alcoholic beer to Fern Brady, and I was like, "Do you want another one?" And she was like, "It's got loads of calories in it." And I was like, "Don't come at me with health warnings about non-alcoholic beer."
Actually, David, it's only 53 calories per can.
I am aware that there's an amount of calories you should and shouldn't have. I just don't know what those numbers are. So, you know, when like, do you remember the 90s? Tic Tac adverts used to be like, Tic Tacs and only 2 calories. And I'm like, oh, why are you telling me?
So I think the average, it depends on your height and build, but I think it's the average for men is like 2,500 a day. So
Oh.
you'd have to eat so many Tic Tacs in order for you. Okay, so like, excuse me, I'm sorry, I've done myself here for this one.
Stop cursing. Well, this is the third one. You can't curse this one as well. With your burps, with your cursey burps.
We started recording.
Making it. Sorry.
We started recording, and then the internet gave out. And then there's technical troubles, and then James farted themselves into a coma.
Oh,
I am actually going out drinking with some friends after this. So this is pre-gaming by just filling up on bubbles.
You know when somebody yawns and then you want to yawn? I get that with burp.
Oh,
Not a good way to exist.
that's a shame. I could have enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was really. I mean, we've got a lot of content out of it, so that's good.
This is also an audio medium.
Discomfort for content. James, last time we actually finished an episode, I won and I received 2 tickets to Chessington World of Adventures.
Oh.
The 3rd best theme park, probably, in the UK.
What's the other? So there's
your mum and your nan. James, you lost, and you went to receive 2 tickets to Chessington World of Adjectives. Can you describe how you feel using adjectives for the sick burn I just gave you?
Yes, it was shit and very bad.
We hope you play along at home. Please follow us at Is This Enough Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. James, do you want to know this week's prizes and forfeits?
I've been waiting
a little
while, yes.
James, if you win this episode 27 of Is This Enough, you will receive 27 compliments.
Oh.
If you lose, you will receive 27 days of incontinence. Are you ready to find out if this is enough?
Oh, God. Yes, please.
Let's go.
Round 1.
James, round 1 is called Big Ben Rule Knowledge.
Fuck it. Yeah, okay. Yes. Let's go. Let's do this. Is this about Big Ben or is this about large people called Benjamin? Either way,
all of these famous Bens.
Yes.
There are a lot of famous Bens. This is a 2,000 points a question. For each question, I will tell you. I will ask you whether you think the next one is higher or lower with no context. If you're right, you'll double your points. And if you get wrong, you'll halve your points. Big Ben, the monument, being the preliminary Ben to compare to your first Ben. Number 1, Ben. Oh no, sorry. Do you think it's going to be higher or lower than Big Ben? This Ben.
Well, you started saying Ben Stiller, so I'm going to say lower.
Hey! Okay, you'll double your points on this one, so it'll be 4,000 points. Do you think how tall do you think Ben Stiller is?
I'm gonna say 5'8".
No, it's 5'7". I'm sorry. Absolutely fucking nothing for your efforts. Okay, James, your next Ben, higher or lower?
Higher.
Yes, Ben Affleck.
All right.
How tall do you think Ben Affleck is?
6'1".
No, 6'4".
What?
Giant Ben, and
he's a tall.
Well. I thought actors were universally like small.
Actors tend to be like male actors tend to be a little bit on the shortish side.
Yes,
because it's convenient more than anything.
Yes. So they can fit into frame.
Yeah.
Well, Ben Affleck, 6'4", higher or lower in your next Ben?
Lower.
Correct. Ben Elton.
Okay. Right. 5'9".
No, he's actually the height of one Ben Stiller. He's also 5'7".
Oh.
Weird. Look at these equal distance Bens. Distance? Heighted.
How many Ben
Length.
Stillers could you fit into Big Ben?
Do you just mean height-wise, or are we talking girth?
Mass. If you cubed Ben Stiller, as is your want.
Tall is Big Ben in feet.
Of course, Big Ben is the name of the Elizabeth Clock Tower's bell inside, named after Sir Benjamin Hall. The bell that chimes on the hour every hour. It chimes in the key of E. Gets that key from Handel's Messiah.
Two things here. Number one, you must be a great tour guide. Number two, you sort of turned into a spitting image puppet there. It went really weird.
I did indeed look quite anti-Semitic.
James, higher or lower on your next Ben?
Higher.
Well, I realised what I should do is tell you who it is, and then you can get.
No, I'm enjoying going in blind.
Yeah, I know. Then I should tell you after I've you guessed the height, whether they're higher or lower, because otherwise that ruins. Summon Ben Nevis.
Ah, okay, yeah, right. That definitely was higher.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm gonna say. How tall is Ben Nevis? I'm gonna say the height of a 300 Ben Stillers.
Oh my god. Okay, what's 5'7" times 300? 5 times 300 is like 15,000 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's break some science.
4,413 feet. Old Benjamin Nevis. Higher or lower on your next Ben?
Higher. Fuck it.
Okay. Your thinking here is that Ben Fogle is higher.
Yeah.
How tall do you think Ben Fogle is?
15,000 feet.
Maybe in magnitude of ego. Didn't Ben Fogle like row across like the Atlantic?
I'm enjoying the rowing stories in the news at the moment of the Oxford Cambridge boat race where everyone got E. coli.
Oh, did that happen?
Yeah, because the Thames is full of poops.
Oh, they're fighting the good fight to get our sanitary waters back by making it a big news story.
No, they did like the boat race. You know, the boat race they do every year.
Yeah, I know, but like they're bringing that, they're using that as a platform to get the fact that the water companies just don't. Well, they do give a shit, but they give it to the river.
Yeah, the turd martyrs.
How Ben Fogle is 6 foot. And your final, Ben, do you think it's higher or lower? Oh no, there's two more. Sorry, I don't even know my questions.
Lower. Let's go lower.
Correct. Ben and Jerry's.
Okay. A pint.
I wrote 4 inches or a pint. I'm going to give you that. So you get 4,000 points there. Really redeeming yourself. And your final Ben, Mr. Ben.
2 dimensions.
How tall though? Higher or lower first? I forgot to tell you.
He's higher.
Yeah.
Depends how close you are to the screen. From Mr. Ben, the movie, he's huge. Particularly if you see it in IMAX, I'm going to say the height of 3 double-decker buses.
weirdly going to give you the points because the exact sentence I wrote out was Mr. Ben, 52 feet on an IMAX screen when you watch him this summer, and Mr. Ben 6, Rise of Shopkeeper. What? How do we end up being the same person from time to time? That's really weird.
That's
really weird.
fucked.
It's so not as fucked as the fact that you ended a round in which you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions wrong. You've still got 8,000 points, James O'Donoghue. It is over to you.
Round 2.
David, this next round is called Why Won't You Fuck My Wife? No, David, that is, of course, a fake round.
Oh.
David, round 2.
That's a shame.
David, round 2 is called What If God Was One of Us? David, here are descriptions of 3 people. One of them is God in disguise. One of them is Satan. And one of them is Stan, who owns a bakery on the Old Kent Road. Person 1. All of this, by the way, worth 3 points each for the Holy Trinity.
Oh, lovely.
Person 1. Humble, long-haired, and eager to do whatever they can to give you the best possible, but only if you are worthy and live by the righteous path.
Yeah, that sounds like a shopkeeper on the Old Kent Road.
Yeah, that is, of course, Stan. He, by the righteous path, he means the path near the park at Crystal Palace Park. He's a judgmental man. Don't judge me, Stan, because I can't afford the steep prices in such a steep area. It's very hilly.
Damn.
So you get 3 points. Whoa, now let's crack on with the rest of that round. David, person 2. A terrible smile sits on his thin lips as he contemplates suffering and torment.
God.
Oh, we got a Richard Dawkins over here. By which I mean increasingly racist. Oh. David, that is, of course, once more Stan. Because every 5th Chelsea bun he sells has a small amount of chili powder in it. Naughty old Stan. So I can't give you the points for that one. And finally, David, this person sells a lot of cream cakes.
Is it Satan?
No, David, it is, of course, God who needs a side hustle. He's got to get he's got that grind set, bro. He's making cakes. He's making fancies. They out here doing other stuff. They're looking like other stuff, David. Some of them look like, just pens or bricks, because he knows that you got to have a cake that looks like other stuff to get the views up. He's got to get the views up, all right? Although he only works 6 days out of the week, because on the 7th day, he rested, which means he's lost crucial views. What are you playing at, God? Big man, what are you playing at? You have to work to get your numbers up, bro. It's about the algorithm, God. So at the end of that, David, you've got yourself 3 points. So, David,
thank you.
With all of that, it's over to you.
Round 3.
I got 2 things to say there. Number 1, does that imply that God invented us this cake?
Yes.
And number 2, God only really earns on Sundays, doesn't he? Takes a collection. Doesn't earn.
I guess it's.
Is that just payday?
Yeah,
He's
it's
working
payday.
6 days a week, and then on 7 he gets paid.
You do a gig on Monday, you get paid on Friday. If only it was that quick a turnaround. Is
God one of the first guys to be like, you got to be earning money whilst you sleep? What you want to do is be richer when you wake up than when you went to bed.
Yeah, he's a passive income bro.
God has a YouTube channel which has a lot of adverts being like, drop shipping is no longer the best way to earn money.
I'm getting
with that, James, it's over to round 3. How are you? It's really fun to depress you in the moment and then ask you how you are.
Well,
Other than
up until
depressed by
this,
my questions and full of gas, how are you?
well, until a second ago, I was doing great. But yeah, no, I'm good. I've had a week out in the by the seaside doing some dog sitting and painting a room.
Don't I know it with your terrible internet connection?
Yeah. Have you
What room did
ever
you paint?
painted a room? I painted my father's house has many rooms. Although according to the mortgage broker, it's my mother's house, which also has many rooms. But it's been
Painted a room. I must have done.
Have you painted a room? Could I
Mm,
try that? Are we painting a room?
I feel like I've only ever rented, so I never
You've
would have done it in
only
my own property. And my mum would be like, "You should have a different color room, so we're gonna do that," and she would just do it whilst I was at school. So
yeah.
no, because I've not owned
Have
property.
you ever uh it's good. It's good. Room painting. It's a fun. It's a good thing to do.
I'm
What's
trying to
the
think if I've done
worst
it
paint
elsewhere
job?
though.
What's the worst paint job that you've inherited through renting?
Jackson Pollock. I actually quite like Jackson Pollock. Worst paint job I've received inherited was I guess there's probably some student accommodation with some pretty terrible, but I just don't think about that because I was too busy trying to live it large. Getting
Too
a
busy
tattoo
shagging.
on. Nope, wasn't doing that.
He said with his glasses, moustache, and Mario hat.
Hey, I've got all of these since I started shagging. I had none of these when I was shagging, before I was shagging, and now first shag happened and this all grew out. I lost my vision, and
It's
so I
true
had,
what they say about coming.
yeah, and then I could do that Tom Jones song. I was going to say you can leave your hat on, but then you didn't realize that because I was then going to be like sex bomb, which is a weird sort of. It isn't a sex bomb recently. Do you remember the 90s? Do you remember sex bomb?
Do you remember the album Tom Jones released as an older man, which was all him collaborating with young women about how, and singing songs about how sexy he is?
Yeah. Was sex bomb on the same album as that? We should stop
I
googling
think
so much during the
I
show,
think
but
it
like
must be
this,
because
I
he
need to
released
be.
that. He had a cover of Burning Down the House.
Dude, his Wikipedia page has Rise to Fame, 1967 to 87, and then there's a whole section called 1990s Resurgence. Here we go. He appeared as himself in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and
I
The
remember
Simpsons.
that. I remember that incredibly well.
Yes. Okay. He had Reload and he had Mr. Jones. Now, was Reload the one? Oh my God, Sex Bomb was on that album. My God, this album is an 62 minutes long. 17 songs. I always think I've looked at this recently and I've forgotten how many insane collaborations because there's ones that you remember, but there are ones
Yeah.
on here that you will be like, so
Did he do one with Danny Minogue?
I like that sentence. Minogue. No.
A Minogue tour.
No, neither Minogues. No. You got the ones you remember, right? The Cardigans, Burning Down the House. Mama Told Me Not to Come, which is gross.
Not to come.
Stereophonics, which apparently was written by Randy Newman. Wow.
What the?
Are You Gonna Go My Way with the Lenny Kravitz song with Robbie Williams? But then so you got that Heather Small. I remember Van Morris is on here. Simply Red. These all kind of make sense. Natalie Imbruglia, and Karis Matthews are the ones I remember. Or did Baby It's Cold Outside with Karis Matthews? Yikes! But the ones that always get me are the Divine Comedy. Yeah, and then the final track on the album is the traditional song Motherless Child with, I'll give you 3 guesses.
That sometimes I feel like a motherless child. let's. Sure.
Share?
Yeah.
Did you just say shit?
I said sure. I said it like it's spelled. I know
No.
it's share.
I really wish I could turn back time, share if you agree. No, it's not share. You got 2 more guesses.
Fuck it, Sinead O'Connor.
Weirder,
Weirder.
but as sad.
Weird and sad. Kirsty McCall.
Portishead.
What? What?
There's an album
I would be less surprised if he'd recorded it with the population of the town of Portishead. What? Do you imagine the meeting? Do you imagine the meeting?
Really love that there's an album out there with Simply Red, the Bare Naked Ladies, Robbie Williams, Mousy Teed and Sex Bomb with him.
Well, we've got to get Portishead on this.
Mousy T did 2 famous songs, which are Sex Bomb and Horny. I'm horny all night long. I'm horny. That guy has a style. How are you, James? I don't even know if we got into that.
I tell you what, my plan for this, because last week when we were originally gonna record this, but my plan for this, I was having a bit of a bad time. I was because here's the thing: painting a room is actually really good for your mental health. Wood painting, not good. Lots of fumes, and I was the fumes make me really depressed. So my plan.
Fuming? Did a wink?
So my plan was you were going to say, James, how are you? And I'd have just gone.
Round 4.
But taking the coward's way out, David. Of course, keen listeners, you might remember when round 5 became a recurring theme. But that's not happening. I'm very good, David. David, last week I had last week. Last week I had 2 smashing gigs, one after the other. I had one in Chelmsford, which was very nice, with a very loud and rambunctious crowd. And that's always fun. And it was like, you're in Essex! And they were the most Essex people imaginable. And I turn up in a skirt and lippy and doing well in skirt and lippy in front of a crowd in London or Bristol or Cardiff or Manchester, a big city, is one thing. And then, but turning up to a place where you're like, oh, this is a bit out of the way of people gonna, how are people gonna react? Because there's horrible shit in the news all the time about people and their biases and their anxiety. And then you turn up to places and people are fucking chill. People are fine. People want to have a laugh. And I think this is the good thing about the difference between online world and real world is that 9 times out of 10, people don't talk to you like they would online. And when someone's when you have a weird in-person conversation with someone, that's usually because they're using their online talk. And people just don't tend to unless they're weird guys. So Chelmsford, delightful. Then lucky old me, the next night, had a gig for the wonderful Sam Michael, who runs the lovely gigs over in Swindon. And I was the middle spot for that. I'll tell you who was only bloody opening the show, though. It was only bloody David Dickinson Hoare.
Oh, please don't dox my middle name. I'm really expecting you to down that water and then get gas again. Please don't. James said my name and then drank a pint. Yeah, we got to be on the same bill as each other.
It was great.
As I left, and also when I messaged Sam afterwards to thank him for the gig, I was like, thank you for putting me on a gig with James. I really like gigging with James.
It was a lot of fun. And again, crowd were very welcoming with gender identity stuff. Then I mentioned the king. They did not like that. They did not like that.
Can I tell my version of events?
Absolutely, David. Please do.
I was born. No. So on. We arrived at the gig. They're filling in, and it was one of those gigs where it started about 10 minutes late because people were both arriving late and still at the bar. And that is often a sign that people are quite disorganized and going to be a bit weird. And also, the front rows tend to get left to the last people coming in, usually. And the last people coming in were clearly disorganized. I was going to say morons. Not all of them. But they were basically, when the MC, who did an amazing job, was it Dan Collins?
Yeah.
Dan did an amazing job, also wearing a Space Jam t-shirt, brought me on, like, please welcome to the stage. The girl in the middle of the front row just got up and went to the loo.
She, at one point, there's a thing every now and then of like, get your feet off my stage.
Yeah.
She didn't, there wasn't like a raised stage. She just
No.
pointed at me with a foot at one point. And it was like,
She was with 3 other blokes, and quite often through the first half of my set, I kept on seeing them turn to each other, and one of them was explaining the joke to the other person. As I was trying to like do the setup to the next joke, one of them's like, like Claire's accessories, and or whatever. I can't remember exactly.
Well, David, sounds like you should have made that joke more Claire's accessible.
Yes, and then there was also another lady who was just insistent on yelling out all the time until I had dealt with these. Everyone else having quite a fun time, and they were very distracting. I feel like I'm getting more and more open about my ADHD on stage, and as a result, the fact that I'm getting quite distracted all the time, I just sort of lean into the chaos. And I got to say, is this the first time a bunch of you have ever been outside? And that I've had bad gigs in the past with people being disruptive, and I always want that zinger that I'm like, how can I just get everybody on my side? And I did that, and then they weren't that disruptive, to the point that when you said something earlier, so when you came on after the break, you walked out, and I could see them all be a bit like, and then you've got such a like well constructed, here are my first couple of jokes just to establish that I'm here not to like lambast you about like gender identity, but just to have fun with you. But here are a bunch of jokes about like how I'm dressed and what's going on, just to get it all out of the way.
Yeah.
The woman that had been yelling out willy-nilly, I don't know if I told you this, she went to put her hand up.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then she put it back down again, but I don't know if she glanced at me, and I was like, but
it was also the setup was the lights were at ground level near the stage, so they were quite blinding for some of it. So I just like, it took a while for my eyes to adjust, and I could just see her little face poking out with her hand up. And it's like, I'm not gonna grind the gig to a halt to do a Q&A session.
But very clearly that she just wanted to throw in her, like, she was just yelling out during mine whenever she wanted to until I shut her up.
Yeah.
And she would have probably said something that you just don't want her to say, but she didn't. But then, so James was just doing a slap up job of all of it, but then
I was slapping people up. That's my set now. Just go around
and how you weren't that fond of the king through some funny stuff about that.
Yeah.
But turns out in Swindon, about 50% of the people there were royalists, and so that same lady and her partner were
and right, so I've got two versions of that set that I do. I've got the one where I know that I can push it and say some stuff which is like gets the crowd on my side and riled up, like, yeah. And the other where I have to be, no, I'm reasonable. I'm going to put my point out reasonably. And I'm going to get quite, both of them is like, I see the king, get angry, get quite heated because I don't agree with the king and the idea of having a king. And then I see him and I'm like, this bloody guy. And he sees me and I wave out of like
He waves at you, then you wave back.
Yeah, and I feel like, oh no. I have the version of it which is like crowd is maybe slightly older, or I'm the
In a royalist place.
yeah, I'm in a bit of a royalist place, so I'm not gonna go out and be like, I need to take them along with me. But
Mhm.
I was in the very much take them along with me, and I was like, I don't agree with the idea of having a monarchy. I think it's a silly system, and I might, to be honest, I might as well have been like, yeah, we got to curb stomp this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh. Oof. And the tutting was
How dare you is what I heard, which I thought was really funny.
Did someone say how dare
I think so. Something to that effect, which made me laugh so much.
To be fair, it was my fault. I should have realised they were all in 1640s red military uniforms. One of them was wearing 1649. Never forget. There was I say, for a bunch of cavaliers, they all had round heads. More.
A bunch of anti-Cromwell propaganda on the walls.
Lots of
it wasn't
anti-Cromwell.
all of them by any stretch of the imagination.
and it was
the ones
a
that
real...
were pretty outraged, and as you say, you got tutted at, right?
Yeah, I've got to say, like 90% of the room were like, if they agree or not, they were like, "Cool, it's a joke. There'll be there's a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. Let's slide down it." The 10% who weren't on board, fucking hell, I really rattled their sense of state.
What is a set of 3/3, and the intro was you just like setting everything up, and you did a fantastic job, and then you just got into some material, and you did a fantastic job, and they were all on board, and then you mentioned you didn't like the king.
Yeah.
And after that, there was just a swathe of people who just like couldn't concentrate on you anymore.
I know, that was a
really
real
weird
sense of mutiny. And because I left going like, oh, I'm sure that's a little bit oversensitive. But I've spoken to you and I've spoken to Sam, and no, that was a palpable thing that happened in the room.
Oh yeah.
Well,
for me it was
really funny.
Sam was like, I didn't even know anything about it, and Sam was on literally the other side of the room to me. So maybe that end.
Sam couldn't hear the tutting, so he's like, "Oh, James is got a little bit unstuck here. What's happened here?"
Maybe Sam's just frequency loss of hearing loss is just at the
Either way, it was a really wonderful gig, and it was a really wonderful time to see your face.
Amazing. Well, James, my dog is growling at my feet. I think you did really well at the gig, and it was lovely to see you. And I'm sorry that paying a house made you depressed, but I think you're wonderful. So to celebrate that, I'm giving you 1,658 points, 1658 being the year that Oliver Cromwell died.
Ah, no!
James, it's over to you.
Round 4.
David Hoare, David Hoare. How are you doing, David Hoare? Round 5 is called David, how are you?
Round 5.
But round 4 is called David, how are you?
Round 5.
All right, enough of that. Let's not do that anymore.
do what? Do this?
Round 5.
If I was going to give an example of what we shouldn't do anymore, it would be this.
Round 5.
James, I'm doing pretty damn good, thank you very much.
Well, that's great. At the end of that round, that's 100 points.
Round 5.
This is round 4. I'm doing all right. I went to my girlfriend's family for Easter. He is risen, and by he, I mean me. I got out of bed. Had a nice time. my girlfriend's family do a sort of Greek style Easter. So I think I might have mentioned this before. Have a barbecued lamb, barbecue chicken, tabbouleh, hummus, chickpeas. They sometimes do fig leaves, baklava. It was fucking delicious. It's
Fuck yeah.
one of the best meals I have every year. And this year we invited some extra people, so they got to come and eat it with us whilst they were trying to be polite, and I was just taking so many extra helpings. And then at the end of like taking way too much food, I turned to my girlfriend's brother and went, "Do you know what? I think I will come back next year." So that was good. But there was the long Easter weekend. I messaged you and I was like, "How's your long Easter weekend?" And you were like, "I'm fucking working." And I was like, should have been a good royalist question and you'd get some time off. No. So, but on the Monday, I stayed in Devon where we were at my girlfriend's family, and I drove to Falmouth and back to do a preview. And I'd spent the whole day restructuring my preview for my Edinburgh show, and it went way better than the previous preview I'd done, which was nice. I should say at this stage, my Edinburgh show is now on sale in both this timeline and in the timeline that you're in listening to this, unless it's after Edinburgh, I guess. If you're listening to this after August 25th, 2024, it's no longer on sale. But if it is, get your tickets now.
If you missed getting your tickets, you could say that you got a case of the Hill Street Blues. I'm
at Hill Street Theatre, 2:15 p.m. from the 2nd to the 25th of August. You should come along. My show is called 1000% Musical Comedy. I'm going to try and do the maximum amount of musical comedy, which is 1000%. So that was good. And then, after that, I did a gig with James, and then the day after I did a gig. No, was it a day before I gigged a gig with James, or the day after? I can't remember. Or was it a whole week later? When was it? I get confused about timings. Oh, it was must have been the day before. I supported Alison Spittle on tour, which was nice.
Oh,
wonderful Alison Spittle. That's her full name. Which was nice. I rang up Andrew White before I did it to get some advice on doing tour support for people, because I hadn't done it for properly. And you know when you get something that you want from your career and you're like, yes, I'm going to do it. I hope it's brilliant. I messaged Andrew just to be like, is there any advice you have? And Andrew was like, it's a bit like doing a mums and babies gig, supporting people, because they are not there to see you. And so that was useful advice. You know, not you're basically, there's no like MC, there's no like whatever. Alison said she would do 2 minutes, she ended up doing like 50 before she brought me on. But then you still Andrew said that his stock line is, you basically sat there being like, did we order a starter? I don't know if we did. But it was great. I had a really nice time. Alison's audience were really lovely, and they went with some filth but not other filth. But on that day I had 2 instances, James, of people texting me saying, are you on your way, when I didn't know I needed to be somewhere. It's bad when it happens once every couple of months. It happened twice in the same day. One for a meeting that I ended up jumping. I thought we were doing a phone call. And one was for a gig where I'd put a message in a forum, but then gone back to the forum. And they hadn't messaged me personally. They just said like, great. And I was sat waiting to like go on to support Alison. And like, they were like, are you on your way here? And I'm like, no, I'm not at all. So that was pretty terrifying. And then our wonderful friends came to visit, and before they came to visit, I went to the veg shop to get some food for us to eat. And I went in, and the veg shop guy, I believe his name is Henry, we have like a good rapport. So I walked in, I was like, "You right, mate? How's it going?" He's like, "Pretty good. Have you been up to much exciting?" And he's like, "No, not much." I was like, are you living the dream?" And before he could answer, this woman who had just been served and was about to leave the shop turned around from leaving the shop to be like, "Are you living the dream?" What kind of question is that? How on earth can they answer that question? And I was like,
That is definitely someone who is not living the dream.
well, yeah, A, they're not living the dream, but B, I just really enjoy that somebody stopped from getting on with their day to turn around and be like, that's a fucking stupid thing to say. And now every time I go back into the bed shop, I get to go, you live in the dream, lads, and we have an even bigger laugh. Hooray!
Yay. Well, every time I go to the vape shop, I ask this.
Why won't you fuck my wife?
So delicious food, show getting better, Edinburgh show on sale, saw some friends, eat with some friends, found out that a woman isn't living the dream. That's how I am. I need to let the dog out of the store because they're going crazy. So I think that's the end of my...
So, David, well done. I'm very proud of you. Let's fill for some time. David, well done. I'm very proud of you. At the end of that round, I have given you 10,000 points, giving you a total score of 10,003 points. So, David, it is with no pleasure whatsoever that I do this.
Round 5.
Agreed.
Round 5.
I thought we agreed we weren't doing that anymore. It was a joke I was going to say when you did it once, but then you did it twice.
Round 5.
3 times everything. James, round 5 is called Big Thrash 4. Which of these Big Thrash 4 bands is this? James, in the mid-80s, thrash metal was more popular than the Traitors, because the Traitors hadn't been invented yet. The 4 biggest thrash bands, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, and Anthrax, were given the imaginative title, The Big Four. Whilst all coming under the thrash grouping, all of them had their own distinct sound and style. I will play you a snippet of one of their popular little ditties, and all you have to do is tell me which of the Big Thrash 4 is this. This is for 500,000 points a question.
But I'd love as someone to be confused between the Big Four and the Fab Four, of like a mum who's really into the Beatles going, "Oh, we're going to see the Big Four play." You'd have to be very naive in both instances, I could imagine.
Have I ever told you about when I worked in Blockbuster and a woman came in and went, "Have you got the DVD of Chalet Girl?" Did I tell you about that?
No.
Okay. This woman came into the shop, picked up the DVD and went, "Oh, good, you've got this version." Now, Chalet Girl, right? This isn't porn, is it? And we were in Blockbuster, so we're like, no. And she was like, good. My daughter wanted to see the film Chalet Girl, so I ordered it off online, and the DVD Chalet Girl, the porn arrived. So whenever anybody gets something they weren't expecting, I was like, okay.
That's so good, because that's such an like obvious porn title. I, for a little while, even had an agent from a company called Blue Star, and when they didn't have a website, and they were called Blue Star. I was like, I had a meeting with them, and it's like, my one job is to assess whether this is porn.
Oh no, because if it was porn, they would have a website.
They would definitely have a website. Turns out it was run by an old man called Keith, who had decided to start an acting agency because he moved to Covent Garden in the 60s and made sandwiches and met loads of actors, and that's all it used to take back in the 60s.
Yep, that sounds about right.
God bless you, Keith, wherever you are.
I'm going to play you a snippet of one of the Big Thrash 4's famous little ditties. You just have to tell me which of the Big Thrash 4 it is. I will double your points. This is for 500,000 points a question, but I will double your points if you can tell me why each band is now hated by their fans.
Okay.
Question number 1. Which Big Thrash 4 band is this?
Hoorah!
I'm sorry, David. I just remembered that I love craft work.
Which of the Big Thrash 4 was that, James? Do you need to hear it again?
I fucking love craft work. Remind me what the big thrash 4 are
Slayer,
again.
Metallica, Megadeth, and Anthrax. Just listen to it again.
Would say,
Oh yeah!
I'm gonna say it's Metallica.
Correct, James. That is 500,000 points. Now, for double points, can you tell me why Metallica's fans now hate them?
Oh fuck! Is it an NFT thing? It's something that it was an online virtual gig that they set up. It's something to do with online trickery, crypto adjacent shit.
You're nearly
I'm
there. I'm going to
gonna
nudge you and say, imagine 20 years earlier.
Fuck. Oh, okay. Oh, did they take LimeWire to court? They were like very against illegal downloading.
Correct. The correct word you're looking for there is Napster, but I will double your points there. Also, their drummer Lars was bad at drumming, and now he's worse. So that's 1 million points for you there.
USA. USA.
Just counting out the zeros in a million because it's difficult. James, question number 2. Oh, wait, sorry. We need to find out who it was.
Hoorah! Oh yeah! Thank you, we're Metallica from Swindon.
Question number 2. Which of the Big Thrash 4 is this, James?
The government is bad. Really, really bad. Hello, me. I don't like the government.
James, which of the remaining Big Thrash 4 or the Big Thrash 3? Big Thrash 3.
I
Is
love
that-
Brian Eno's early work.
Or Tom Waits.
It's like if Tom Waits and 1970 era Brian Eno collaborated on a song. Both of them now collaborating on a song would be unlistenable to.
That's your opinion.
Just be like silence and the sound of like a far off hum from a substation, and then I'm gonna kill my wife.
Why won't you kill my wife? James, was that Slayer, Megadeth, or Anthrax?
Very political, too political, one would say. I'm going to say it's Anthrax.
Let's find out if you're correct.
The government is bad. Really, really bad. Hello, me. I don't like the government. Thank you. We're Megadeth from Didcot.
James, you didn't get any points there. There's no points up for grabs, but do you want to tell me why Megadeth fans now hate Megadeth?
Because they promised Megadeth and they have yet to deliver a single death.
No, James, unfortunately for you, Dave Mustaine, the only remaining band member, so he was in Metallica and then he got fired from Metallica by the rest of the band. So he left and set up Megadeth, a rival band. He saw the words Megadeth on an anti-nuclear war pamphlet on a Greyhound bus he was sat on. And by the time he got to the end of the where his destination, he decided on a band and all the people he wanted to contact. Since that happened in like 1984, He has fired nearly every single member of the band, which is like well over 25 people. Also, Dave Mustaine on stage once claimed that Obama was staging mass shootings in order to try and lobby gun laws.
Oh.
Also, they're just a bit shit now. James, question number 3. Which of the remaining Big Thrash 4 is this?
We send anthrax in the post. We send anthrax in the post. We never deliver it in person. Anthrax, anthrax, anthrax.
I love advertisements from the 70s. That's gonna be Slayer if ever I heard one.
Let's find out if you're correct.
We send anthrax in the post. We send anthrax in the post. We never deliver it in person. Anthrax, anthrax, anthrax. Hello, we're Slayer from Grimsby.
Hey.
James, that is correct. That was, of course, Slayer. Now, why do fans of Slayer
Why
hate
do
Slayer now?
Hans Zimmer hate?
Yeah. Why does Hans Zimmer hate Slayer?
I'm going to say that the main thing I know about Slayer is Slayer fans shouting Slayer.
Yeah, but that's
So
they love Slayer. But why do they hate
they
Slayer?
love Slayer. Because they are yet to kill any vampires.
In a sort of Buffy-based escapade.
Yes.
No, sorry. They fired their amazing thrash metal drummer Dave Lombardo, who was originally part of the band and then left in the 90s and then rejoined. He basically found out he was being paid way less than the rest of them, and he went, "Oh, I'm being paid way less than the rest of you." And they went, "You're kicked out of the band."
That's
And
one
then-
way you're dealing with it.
And then they split up, and they've recently reformed, and everyone's like, "Why? You don't need to do this. Nobody's asking for this." And they haven't brought back the original drummer. James, that was 500,000 points for you there. Just got to get the right amount of zeros in there. James, this last one. Which of the remaining One Big Thrash 4 bands is this?
My name is Mrs. Thrax, but you can call me Anne. My name is Mrs. Thrax, but you can call me Anne.
Well, that's
Who's that?
clearly Anthrax.
Correct. And why do Anthrax fans hate Anthrax?
Because of the Fathers for Justice incident where they threw a white powder over Tony Blair at Prime Minister's questions in the late 90s.
I know we're not supposed to pick each other up on the way that we say words, but the way you said it there, it sounded like you said Tiny Blair. Let's find out if you're correct.
My name is Mrs. Thrax, but you can call me Anne. My name is Mrs. Thrax, but you can call me Anne. Hello, dear. My name's Anthrax, and I'm from Belgium.
No, you were wrong. Nobody hates Anthrax. Everybody loves Anthrax.
Oh, bloody hell.
The only remaining members of the Big Thrash 4 where everybody is like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." So, James, at the end of that round, you have 1,510,000. Oh no, wait! I put this in the wrong bit. That's my score. Live scoring. Nope, you've got way more than that. 1,000. Hang on. What's going on here? Yeah.
Hello.
1 million. No, it should be 2 million. What is going on? The maths is not working anymore, sir. I don't know what's going on. Oh, that's why. Because I've not put enough zeros. I told you I need to put the right number of zeros, and I didn't. You got 2,090,658 points. What a kerfuffle. James, it's over to you.
Round 6.
David, thank you very much. Round 6 is, of course, not presented by me, but instead presented by a very special guest. This one took a lot of time and energy to track down. It involved breaking some of the fundamentals of physics. But, David, I'm very glad to now hop off to let through our next guest. And here he is.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Ronald Reagan from the universe where I didn't have 2 terms as a right-wing president, but instead retired from acting to present game shows. A long, industrious career stretching from 1962 until 2015, when I passed away in my suburban LA home. I was known for my quippy one-liners and convivial hosting style, and in no way deregulating the financial services. I hosted many game shows, but sadly, as is the case in showbiz, I pitched many that were never picked up. So, David, are these real game shows, real in your universe and hosted by me in mine, or are they fake? All of these are worth 93 points. 93 for the age I was in which I died in your universe.
I'm
Excuse
excited.
me, David. I downed an entire pint of Lucky Saint as well. But
Not
in
you
my
two.
universe, it's very alcoholic. So, David,
Yeah.
are these real game shows? Number 1, red or black?
The Red and the Black is the name of an Iron Maiden song, and they also named a beer, like maybe a porter, after it, or a stout. I think that is yes.
Yes, David, that is, of course, a game show. Ant and Dec hosted the I'm going to start that again. Ant
Sorry,
and,
Ronald.
Ant and Dec hosted the roulette-themed game show on ITV in your universe, whereas I hosted it in mine. So well done, David. That's...
Did you cover both Ant and Dec's duties?
Of course, David. In my universe, temporary clones are there for all to use. So, David, question 2. Golden balls.
Yeah.
Yes, that is, of course, a game show. In your universe, Jasper Carrot presented a lottery-style game show, and in mine, I just got out my rather expensive testicles. So well done, Dave. That should be rather expensive testicles. Oh, bother. This is the longest that I've ever done an impression of Ronald Reagan. In a way, this is the longest I've ever existed. We're finding out some weird limits. Have you noticed that it's about 30% Winnie the Pooh?
I did notice when you said, "Oh bother."
Oh, bother. I'm stuck in the tree hole.
Also, you can't see your lower half.
No, because my dick and
imagining you're not
golden
wearing-
balls are out. And they're dipped in honey.
Is that how they get that golden sheen?
Next item. Stop the count.
No, that's not a game show.
No, David, of course. Unfortunately, that was not a game show. But if it was to be picked up, it would have been me and a lucky contestant staking as many vampires as possible. In my universe, there are vampires. So, David, well done. That's another 93 points. Anna's Paquin.
That's a person.
Anna's
That's a vampire
Paquin
person.
Heat. You gotta get down. Anna's Paquin Heat.
My friend was watching the Anna Paquin vampire show and just told me that they do
Vampires? Where?
it because Anna Paquin's quite attractive, and I was like, oh yeah. And then they just proceeded to text me lots of attractive pictures of Anna Paquin that just sort of the way they sent it to me over WhatsApp just saved to my like Google Photos, and I opened up my Google Photos and I was like, Jesus Christ. Went to go post something on Instagram and they were like, do you want to post this? And I was like, no.
What a convenient excuse for having lots of pictures of Anna Paquin on your phone. In my universe, we don't have pictures on our phones. We just have advice of how to kill vampires.
Did I answer a question?
No, David, you didn't.
No, Anna Paquin's a person.
Of course, David. Anna Paquin's Heat is not a real game show. But if I'd have convinced the board, it would have been me and a contestant trying to pass the actor Anna Paquin with a gun. And finally, David, hole in the wall.
My cheeks. Yes.
Yes, David, of course. Hole in the Wall, hosted in your reality by Dale Winton, but in mine by me. In fact, we had Premier Gorbachev guesting once during the Perestroika years. In our universe, the Soviet Union remained a country. In fact, it transitioned into a more democratic communism. In fact, it was so successful as a model, it was taken up by most other countries in the world. In fact, you could even say America is now a democratic communist country. Deaths by industrial accident are now at nil. People have a lot more free time. That's all because in this universe, I didn't decide to go into politics and set the ball loose. And instead, I had a game show called Loosen My Balls. But during President Gorbachev's visit to the hole in the wall set, he got stuck in one of the holes in the wall, leading to my famous catchphrase, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. So, David, that's another 93 points, 5 for 5. Well done. At the end of that round, you have 10,468 points. So, David, I hope you enjoyed that round, and I hope your listeners enjoyed your first outing into the Is This Enough multiverse saga.
Oh, no.
Goodbye.
Oh, no.
Or as
No.
we say in my
Not like
universe,
this. Not like this.
everyone loves multiverses, David. Goodbye, or as we say in my universe, Blair, I'm a vampire. I'm not actually a vampire, but it's good to keep them guessing. Bob Iger. What a
Wow.
what a lot of fun.
Just hanging out with Ronald Reagan.
What a guy. What a guy.
I always forget that, like, the reason we get Donald Trump is that Ronald Reagan walks. so
I'm
that Donald
Ronald
Trump can
Reagan.
shit all over the future. I'm hunting Quam units.
Oh my God. Well, David, it's time for the results.
James O'Donoghue, episode 27 has been absolutely fucking great. We've learned stuff. There's been lots of dog. There's been a couple of really good moments of silence, feelings and thoughts. But James, you have won, and you have won 27 compliments.
Oh!
Whereas I have lost, and I will receive 27 days of incontinence.
Oh.
Or as I call it, February.
Hey!
James, people at home can follow us at Is This Enough Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. They can email us if they want to tell us anything very exciting at isthisenoughpod@gmail.com. Where can we find you on the internet, James?
On the internet, you can find me at Is That James O on Insta and Let the James Begin on TikTok. That's me.
You can find me at David Hoare lol on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Nala feels like she wanted to plug her own podcast there. It's called Rough. Diary of a Dog CEO. James, do you think that this has been enough?
David, I think, if anything, it's been enough. Yes, thank you very much.
This is really unprofessional, but you, unless you did use it and I forgot. Oh no, you did use it. Don't worry, I was going to ask you what the audio was.
Why
and then I
won't
remembered
you
that.
fuck my wife?
I realised that you had used it already. I was sitting there being like, he's not used the thing yet. But he has. I've got to go take this dog for a piss, and then I'll let her piss.
Hey! Well, we've lost David.
It's Bob Iger from me.
And it's Bob Iger from Nala as well. Bob Iger.
Oh.
Round 5.